Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating psychological paradox. We're going to break down the architecture of quiet discipline, and together, we'll uncover the mindset of a completely different kind of high achiever. We're talking about the invisible high performer. So, have you ever noticed that the absolute most impressive person in the room is, well, almost never the one dominating the conversation? It's a massive paradox, right? Because in our modern world, we're constantly told that capability is permanently tied to visibility. Like, if you aren't broadcasting your every single move, are you even doing anything at all? But psychology actually suggests the exact opposite. The truly capable individuals, the ones operating at the absolute highest level, they are completely under the radar. They aren't up there clamoring for the microphone. No, they're comfortably seated in the back, just quietly observing the whole shebang. Look, we are completely surrounded by hustle culture. It's loud, it's exhausting, and it revolves entirely around external hype. You know what I mean? It's the constant posting, the noisy public grind, the unending stream of updates about just how incredibly busy someone is. Whew, it's honestly draining just scrolling past it on your feed, isn't it? But let's contrast that with the invisible high performer. Their success, it looks almost effortless from the outside. And that's because they rely entirely on quiet discipline. They actively protect their privacy like it's a vital, precious resource. It's just a sleek, deliberate, and literally incredibly powerful way to exist, completely free from the chaotic noise of everyone else out there desperately trying to be seen. All right, let's dive into Section 1, the active observer, mastering the intake of information. So, an active observer is someone who processes way more than they ever actually express. Think about how most people operate in everyday life. Most of us feel this intense, sometimes honestly crushing pressure to fill every single silence, usually just to avoid an awkward moment, right? We just start babbling to keep the air filled. But the invisible performer, they actually utilize comfortable pauses. They lean right into that silence because they understand a fundamental, almost mathematical rule of human interaction. Talking gives information out, but listening brings information in. So while everyone else is out there depleting their reserves, the active observer is just quietly, constantly accumulating data. While everyone else is basically just waiting for their turn to speak, active observers are doing the real work. They seek the why before acting. Imagine you're in a tense corporate meeting, or maybe a high-stakes negotiation. People are talking over each other, they're getting defensive, throwing out opinions left and right. Well, the active observer isn't reacting emotionally to all that chaos. Instead, they're quietly noticing hidden behavior patterns. They're literally mapping out micro shifts in tone of voice, picking up on the subtle social signals, like, who just nervously checked their watch, or who suddenly shifted their posture. Things that the loudest people in the room completely miss. They gather the entire picture before they ever make a single move. Moving right along to Section 2, the engine of automaticity. This is all about moving from motivation to systems. You see, talking actually kills the drive. And wow, is this a profound psychological trap that catches so many of us? I mean, we've all seen it, right? Someone posting a screenshot of their 4 a.m. alarm clock online to show everyone how hard they are grinding. Ironically, they're probably still in bed while posting it. But psychology shows that when you broadcast your goals, your brain gets this premature dopamine hit. It literally confuses the social validation of the post with the actual accomplishment of doing the hard work. You get the reward before you've even earned it. And the result of that, you completely lose the intrinsic drive required to actually follow through. It's a real motivation killer. So instead of chasing that fleeting hype, our invisible high performers build a superior, completely unshakable framework. Think of it kind of like programming software. First up, step 1. They use implementation intentions. They simply decide in advance, okay, it's time, so I do it. Boom. There is no internal debate. Step 2, they build fixed systems. They rely entirely on structure rather than sitting around waiting for some magical burst of motivation to strike. And this naturally leads us to step 3, autopilot, or what psychologists call automaticity. These people don't need to watch a hyped-up motivational video to start working because their habits just run on autopilot. It happens completely regardless of whether they feel super excited or absolutely exhausted that day. The system just executes. Okay, Section 3, internal armor. Here we're looking at context building and intrinsic self-worth. The difference here really comes down to where you source your value. The common default for most folks is external validation. It's that all too familiar addiction to quick dopamine hits from social media likes and comments, just to feel seen and validated by total strangers. But the invisible high performer, they operate purely on intrinsic self-worth. They absolutely do not need an audience to know their value. They prioritize real-life goals, they fiercely value their privacy, and they maintain absolute control over their own inner world. They keep their thoughts to themselves. And listen, it's not because they're antisocial or super secretive. It's because they recognize that their mental energy is finite, and they just flat out refuse to waste it on performative displays. And because they aren't constantly distracted by chasing digital attention, their brains are completely free to become master context builders. Before making a single decision, they mentally model the entire environment, and they connect these hidden variables that most people just completely overlook. And here is a really crucial shift in their psychology, a real game changer. They treat failure purely as data to improve their reasoning. It is literally never an emotional blow to their ego. If a strategy doesn't work out, they don't spire into self-doubt, they just adjust the formula. This is exactly why they seem to process information and think so incredibly fast in times of chaos. They simply ignore all that emotional noise and zero in on what actually matters. Which brings us to section 4, cognitive flexibility, the silent advantage. So high cognitive flexibility basically comes down to a few defining, honestly almost ruthless habits. First off, these performers completely separate their opinions from their identity. If new facts emerge that contradict their beliefs, they just readily update their thinking. They can look you right in the eye and comfortably say, hey, I was wrong, without feeling personally attacked or diminished in any way. But here's the most effective part. They replace emotional reactions with neutral, evidence-based language. When a project derails, instead of panicking and screaming, oh my gosh, this is a complete disaster, they calmly state, well, the current approach is yielding incorrect metrics. I know it sounds a bit robotic, right? But that tiny shift in language keeps their brain permanently locked in problem-solving mode while literally everyone else is busy panicking. And finally, section 5, the silent challenge. It's time to put quiet discipline to the test. This brings us to what just might be the absolute scariest level of discipline. I have a highly unconventional request for you today. Ready? Do not subscribe to this explainer just yet. Do not leave a comment telling me what you're going to do next. Instead, I want you to go through the rest of your entire day without telling a single person about your plans or your progress. Literally go 0 dark 30 on your ambitions. Practice discipline when absolutely no one is watching. And frankly, when no one even cares. Prove to yourself, first and foremost, that you can actually move in total silence. I really want to leave you with this final, powerful thought today. Real intelligence isn't loud, it's controlled. If you accept this silent challenge today, and if you find yourself coming back to our explainers later on, not because you're just looking for a quick distraction, but because you have made the deliberate, conscious choice to master your mind, then and only then hit that subscribe button. Until next time, stay focused, stay dangerous, and embrace the power of quiet discipline.